Hey guys, this is Marcel with IrnieracingNews. Today we have a local BC Canada story. An RCMP constable went to a party with fellow constables, with fellow police officers, a house party, with his unmarked police vehicle, the K9 unit. So he has the dog in the back of the police unmarked SUV. He goes to a party, drinks, who knows, for a couple hours, for multiple, there's no detail on that, is completely wasted. And then he proceeds to get in his police vehicle with the dog unit and all his guns and everything else, completely drunk. None of the other officers say, hey, maybe you shouldn't drive 25 kilometers back to Mission, BC area, I believe it was. I'll verify it soon. This is Constable Pickett's, the officer. And in the 25 kilometers he's driving, he smashes, not smashes, but grinds the vehicle along a concrete wall going over a bridge. Okay, I got it in front of me. On the way, he scrapes the police vehicle on a concrete barrier while crossing the Golden Ears Bridge before arriving at the Burger King drive-thru. He then falls asleep behind the wheel with his credit card in his hand and the engine running in the lineup of the Burger King in BC, Canada. Our very own RCMP. This is a very bad example for the oath of being an RCMP officer, to protect and serve and not do harm to others. Now, why am I telling you about this story? Because the irony of political prisoners, or me even being hassled by Conrad Herbs on the side of the road for parking legally. So Tamara Litch was just released on bail again. She was in prison for like 45 days, and on the charge of mischief. Mischief, guys. Mischief is like it's not a charge that it's not a violent criminal charge whatsoever. It's like when you have kids out around downtown and they're causing little mischief, or they're on the school grounds, maybe like doing a little vandalism. I'm not sure, you could verify, but it's a very small charge, and the time served that she's been waiting on bail is already time served if she was guilty of mischief. You have these officers and army people who speak out publicly about what's going on with these illegal mandates, and they are removed from their position as RCMP. As the best example is Brian Dennison. And I'm just freaking looking at a Calgary Herald, anti-vax police officer who compares vaccine mandates to Holocaust, resigns. You know why he resigned? Because he had internal charges against him. And these internal charges essentially will not stick when you resign, when you quit. So they forced him out. They forced Brian Dennison out. He had to leave, or he was going to have some internal criminal charges for just speaking on a video about what's going on in Canada, a political perception, his political opinion. The irony is that Constable Brian Dennison was once a member of the service's hate crime unit. So he's seen all the hate, and now he is being hated upon, just like the segregation of all Canadians. We are having the hate on us because we choose to support our medical choice, our medical autonomy. Dennison says, I turned in my resignation because I could not abide by what they were doing. Their orders are wrong. Do not listen to them. The Calgary Police Service. Let me be clear about the CPS. They don't own you. The government doesn't own you and can't tell you what to put in your body, he told a crowd. Okay, so back to the BC Mountie who fell asleep while drunk in his unmarked cop car at a Burger King drive-thru, lost a month's pay and will lose 15 days of annual leave. So he's losing 15 days vacation time and a month's pay, or essentially a fine. He's paying back a fine, which is a month's pay. After a day of drinking at several RCMP colleagues' houses, Constable Blaze Pickett hopped in his unmarked police car with his RCMP service dog in the back and drove 25 kilometers to Maple Ridge. On the way, he scraped the police vehicle on a concrete barrier while crossing the Golden Ears Bridge before arriving at the Burger King. He then fell asleep behind the wheel with his credit card, just waiting to pay. The fast food service tried to wake him up, but after 20 minutes, they called the police. When police arrived, Constable Pickett told them to F off, the full word, and wouldn't, this is censor tube still, and wouldn't cooperate with being breathalyzed. He then bit the straw of the breathalyzer and wouldn't blow hard enough. He was not complying for the breathalyzer. The officers then tried to arrest Constable Pickett. The drunken cop attempted to knee one of the officers in the groin. He attempted to knee. So I would assume he did knee it, and he's not getting charged with assaulting a police officer like Joshua and his mother, who got dragged out the windows. They were charged for assaulting a police officer when the police are doing the harm. But in this case, this is, he's in the league. He's in the group, so they're not going to, come down on him with the full force, obviously. He attempted to knee one of the officers in the groin and grabbed the handcuffs they were trying to put on him. Again, resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer. It took several officers to get him into a police cruiser as Constable Pickett used his legs on the side of the vehicle to prevent him from being pushed in. This is an officer. So drunk, he doesn't even know what the hell's going on. What's to say, okay, I've been through alcoholism with my family, with my long-lost love. It's very hard for people to come outside of the alcoholism. It often repeats and repeats and repeats every month, once a month. And so we don't know his individual situation, but it's very likely that it will be repeating, regardless of going to AA meetings, regardless of taking prescriptions. He does not want to be arrested. Once in the police car, he was taken to Maple Ridge Detachment, but his attitude didn't change. It's so interesting because he's an officer. Maybe he is of double mind. While being photographed, he gave the middle finger to the camera. Like, this is an officer of the RCMP that is served to serve and protect. He then needed to be handcuffed again and physically forced into the cell. Wow. Unsurprisingly, Constable Pickett admitted he had little recollection of the events due to how drunk he was, but agreed the incident took place on April 9th. Again, his fellow constable buddies let him go and didn't stop him from being, if he's this drunk, well, let's talk about them. When you're an off-duty officer, when you're an off-duty anybody and you see drinking and driving, you call the police. Why didn't they call the police? Let's talk to those officers at the party. Who are they? Let's get the information. The RCMP Conduct Board decision said Constable Pickett was later charged with resisting arrest and refusing a breathalyzer test. He pleaded guilty in June 21 to resisting arrest and was put on probation for 3 months and was issued a $1,000 fine. Crown prosecutors stayed the charges to refusing to provide a breathalyzer sample. There is no explanation given for why the officer wasn't charged for drunk driving. Oh my God, so many people get charged for drunk driving in BC now, and then you lose your license for a long time, and then you have to install a breathalyzer in your car, the system that you have to blow every half hour. It's random. And so you can only drive your vehicle unless your friend blows and gets it going. And it's a very system, $10,000 system to install and go through the process. So he pleaded guilty to resisting arrest, but he was never charged with drinking and driving. So this is in the good old boys club, guys. We have Tamara Lich in jail for 45 days. And a judge, finally a good judge, sees this is not proportionate to her charge whatsoever of mischief for loitering. Insane. So this is what's going on in Canada. There was no explanation given why the officer wasn't charged for drinking and driving. The decision said as an RCMP dog handler, Constable Pickett was allowed to take his unmarked police vehicle home, and on his day off arranged to meet other dog handlers to train with their dogs, his fellow buddies, to drink. After, Pickett drove to another RCMP member's home in Langley and stopped to pick up some alcohol. Yeah, I mean, this is all hearsay. This all could be made up. Over the course of the afternoon, Constable Pickett drove several RCMP members' homes, often stopping to buy booze on the way. There is no mention in the decision that any of the other officers attempted to prevent Constable Pickett from driving, although they knew he'd been drinking. At 2 a.m., he left the RCMP officer's home in Langley. Again, so the other guys all passed out too, and drove to Burger King. The service dog, of course, was in the vehicle at the time. So was that dog outside in the heat the whole time too? A mobile workstation and his firearm and ammunition were, of course, in the vehicle. Anyone could have just stolen those. The guys just passed out. Constable Pickett's engaged in a very serious misconduct. His actions were reckless and put his and other people's safety of the public at risk, as well as his police service dog. The RCMP Conduct Board ruled his behavior was disrespectful, uncooperative, uncombative while resisting arrest. His actions caused a minor injury to 2 arresting officers. Oh my God, it's called, yeah, he got kneed in the groin. Assault on a police officer. Where is the equality of this system? All I'm doing is reading an article. It's so simple, we can read right through it. The decision said the officer had to repay the $7,000 of damage he caused the vehicle when he hit the bridge and was generally remorseful for his actions. So I wonder if the fine was just to pay back the police vehicle damage of 1 month's pay. He has taken concrete and extensive steps to address his medical condition and to maintain his sobriety. Okay, I've been there. It is very difficult to maintain sobriety, guys. This is going to happen again. Very, very, I mean, it's literally 99 out of 100 times, or 99.5 out of, so essentially 1 out of 1,000 chances he's going to stay sober. I know, it's really shitty. I've been there. It's freaking absolutely terrible. But the fact is he kept his job. When you have Brian Dennison, you have these army, Canada marches, everyone loses their job. There being internal charges for just speaking publicly about the bureaucracy and the totalitarianism, the dictatorship, the lack of affecting our Human Rights Act, affecting the Charter of Rights, and we are all fired. The board insisted to fine him for 30 days' wage, although the amount is not disclosed, and docked him 15 days of vacation. The officer was removed from the dog handling team and won't get a promotion for 3 years. Wow. 3 years. He probably wasn't going to get a promotion in 3 years anyways. He also has to make a direct apology to the officers that he kneed in the groin. Anyways, guide. There is a code that does not apply. It is not applied where civilians are accused at the same. It is always used when officers have to arrest other officers. Crown Counsel and the police somehow do not approve charges of impaired driving because in order to police and to police the police, you need a driver's license. If the police board shows they'll discipline him, impaired driving charges won't be approved. It's a backdoor handshake. Why are people surprised? Excellent comment. This is horrible. Why was he not charged for assault of an officer and for impaired driving? Anyone who's not a cop would have gotten those charges and would have gotten even higher fines and jail time and loss of their license because this guy is a cop. It's different for him. It's sad these people can do whatever they want with close to zero consequences. Just like in Windsor, someone in a wheelchair was crossing the street at a green light and a cop ran over him and killed him. Investigation was done and was proven that the officer was speeding and not paying attention, but no charges or fines, and he kept his job. He was at fault for killing an innocent person who had the right of way and no punishment whatsoever. And then they wonder why they are feared and disrespected. Sad, sad world we live in. Wow, these comments are right on the thing. You gotta be kidding. This idiot should be fired and charged for the crimes he committed. Another example of system totally broke. And they just go on and on. Typical, one law for the cops, another for the peasants. They wonder why they aren't trusted. Anyways, guys, what happened to justice? This is wrong, wrong, wrong. This is Marcel Irnie with Irnieracing News. We got people who are true heroes, fired, disciplined, internal charges, mischief charges for Tamara Lich. And then we got guys like this who are really harming the public and a danger to everybody, and they keep their job to serve and abuse. Marcel, Irnieracing News. Thank you. Oh yeah, look at my pinky. This is from my dirt bike crash, guys. It's still super swollen. The finger went completely straight up. It just went at the joint. Ow. Bye, guys.